I recently heard that you are the sum of the past 3 months. Whatever actions you've taken in the past directly create the person that you are today. And I can't help but think that's true. If I look back at the past 12 weeks, I have made progress. I have done a lot of cool things and I've become a better person in some aspects, but I'm nowhere near where I would be. Instead of choosing my goals, I've chosen doom scrolling, Netflix watching, and playing online games, which isn't going to help me get to where I need to go. I just feel stuck in a rhythm of going from one vice to the next, and it's getting really bad. Look at this. I'm hooked on the great value version of Call of Duty, which is pretty pathetic. So if our actions in the past 3 months dictate who we are today, then that means to fix it, I need to identify which actions I'm taking that aren't in line with who I want to be so that I can obviously avoid them. Hopefully this isn't too windy. So that way I can avoid them and also at the same time create responses and actions that are in line with who I actually want to be in life. The first thing that comes to mind is quitting as soon as it gets tough. I've been really bad about as soon as something starts to get uncomfortable with like work or whatever, I immediately go to social media or YouTube or whatever other distraction there is out there. I'm immediately just like, it's time for a little treat yourself time. And that ends up going for way longer than expected. And then it rolls into the next issue I have, which is getting distracted and procrastinating. I find myself just going from one app to the next, hop on Instagram, then YouTube, then Twitter, then TikTok. Like, got off one, but then you gotta check the other ones, and it's so bad. All right, but hold on. Quick funny thing. I know this because I was here, but that's a restroom. And the urinals are right there, so like you can be taking a wee, like someone could be watching you, which is really weird. I know in Europe it's a little more common to have open air urinals, so having a window outside isn't so bad, but coming from the US where you can get like a public indecency charge, it's pretty wild. Anyways, whether it's text or work or even just replying to friends and family, I often get very distracted and procrastinate it. I think it's so easy for a lot of us to be like, oh yeah, I'll get back to that in a second, and then just never get back to it. Even when I say I want to do something, a lot of times I don't do it, and that's not because I don't want to do it. A lot of times I do. It's just that I put it off in favor of things that are not meaningful at all. It's kind of pathetic when you're trading things that are so good for you for just absolute garbage and junk. So who do I want to be? Well, my wife and I sat down a couple days ago and did Patrick Bet-David's personal identity audit. After going through all of it, I wrote down that I want to be a man of God who disciples, who leads others to Christ, and who can freely give to others. Someone who is reliable, consistent, and a great husband, and eventually a great dad. And I also want to be a beast physically. But I can say with utmost certainty that I'm not going to get there with how I'm living right now. Someone who can deliver on their promises is not going to have, is not going to be a good representative of Christ, and he's not going to excel in business, relationships, and physicalness. I don't know a good word for that. So the first step to get better is to eliminate distractions. A big problem I obviously face is social media. So therefore, I have deleted all my social media. I only be getting on to like post things, and I'm giving my wife my screen report at the end of the week so she can see, all right, did he actually just go on to post or did he end up scrolling? And you can see based off the time, it doesn't take long to post on social media. And then when it's time for work, I'll be setting a stopwatch. I saw this on like Tim Billio with Impact Theory. He was interviewing a guy and they were talking about the mind can be like productive for like 2 hours or something. Then the productivity like curve goes from like up high and able to like produce to just like dropping significantly. So it's actually really good to have breaks. Along with that, with the breaks, in the past I've been just doing like social media. And so instead of doing that, I will be doing productive breaks of stuff that I want/need to do. For instance, learning German, since I am in Germany, it is a must, and I'd like to learn guitar and just hit the gym more. So instead of getting on mind-sucking social media where you just feel like foggy afterwards, productive things during breaks are really gonna help. It was super dark out and my batteries were also dying, so I figured it's time to jump inside for now, which honestly is a lie. It's not the same day. It's actually sunny out. Fact still remains that my batteries were dead. Good news. I just got in my new microphones This should help a lot for those outdoor sections when it's like really noisy out in the city. So let me know. Does this sound better? I hope it does, because these weren't cheap. I see everyone wearing them. My friends have them. They say they're amazing. Hopefully they are. But anyways, since I've been having trouble following through on my promises and also putting off what I've said I'm gonna do, I really need to develop a no compromise mentality. Whatever I says go, no matter what. So to help me achieve this, I'm gonna be putting on a whiteboard every day what I have to do into 4 categories. Today, end of day, tomorrow, and this week. Today is simply what needs to be done by the end of the workday. After that, we have end of day, which is responding back to family or friends, any sort of thing that isn't super important for work or development, but is definitely still important and needs to be done. Having a tomorrow board is 1, to have a heads up, and 2, so I don't procrastinate, because I can see, oh man, I have all this to do tomorrow, so I need to make sure that I get done today what needs to get done today. And finally, this week, same kind of vein as the tomorrow board, just to have a heads up. But I can't just have good habits. That's like having a ship without a rudder. It's just gonna go wherever the ocean takes it. So without getting super technical on it, to make sure my rudder is pointing my boat where it needs to go, I'm gonna be doing daily time with Jesus, setting out time for my wife every day to make sure that she feels loved and supported. And of course, hitting the gym so I can look like C-Bum's little brother, hopefully. Not hopefully, we're gonna do it. Because if you say maybe, you're not serious about it. So we're gonna do it. Gonna get huge. Now, all of these things are gonna help me improve my life, but to help with it, I'm gonna be doing a program. I wanted to do 75 Hard by Andy Frisella, but unfortunately, that's just too intense right now. I've got my best friend coming in less than a month, and I really don't wanna be on an intense program while trying to show him around Germany. Because of my situation, I've decided to do Driven 30 by Leon Hendricks. 75 Hard is like this huge life-changing forge that will beat you into what you need to become. On the other hand, Driven 30 is a little bit more relaxed. It doesn't require so much out of your day, but still develops great habits and good lifestyle practices. And I really think anyone can do it because it's 30 consecutive days of doing these things right here. First thing is 30 minutes of exercise. This can be anything from stretching to powerlifting. The next is 10 minutes of journaling. This is just so you can figure out what went right, what went wrong, and how you can improve. Just a time to reflect. Then we have 15 minutes of mindfulness. This can be meditation, visualization, maybe prayer, I don't know, up to you, I guess. And while we're doing all this during our day, we need to make sure that we have a clean, whole foods diet and sticking away from alcohol and junk food. I don't think this means that you have to have a specific meal plan from what I remember him saying. The focus is less on a strict meal plan and more on just making sure you are eating healthy. Also, every day we're going to be doing less than 2 hours of candy screen time. So this is like social media, entertainment, movies, that kind of thing. If it's something to make you better, I'm pretty sure it's allowed, but no Instagram scrolling and TikTok. The goal is to be doing things that are productive and getting you towards your goals. And with all this, you need to have daily accountability, whether by a family member, a friend, or if you don't have anyone you can go to on the daily, post on social media. Just post and leave. So as you can see, anyone can do this unless you just don't have arms or legs. And to be real, I did not want to start this. This B-roll was from day 1 and 2, and I didn't want to do it either one of those days. But it's becoming more helpful and helpful the more I do it. So no excuses. If you feel like your life will improve at all from having more discipline and having these good habits, definitely jump right into it. No excuses. Let's get it done and be better men for Christ and those around us. And going along with that, next week, we're going to be talking about why it's so important as Christians that Jesus is reflected on us to others and how we can do that. So hopefully that's right here. If you're in the first week, it's probably not. And you're probably one of 3 people watching this. So thank you very much. Either way, I'll see y'all in the next video. And in the meantime, go in Christ and become uncompromised.